Check, 1, 2. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Books and Books. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we'd all prefer to be sitting out in rush hour traffic on 836 right about now, but we appreciate you being here. It's a real testament to the bookshop and to our authors that you're here. Please go to our website at booksandbooks.com, and you will get an email every 30 or 40 seconds or so to give us your email address about all the events we do at the bookshop. We have, of course, this beautiful store here. We have a shop in Bal Harbor. We have a shop in Coconut Grove. We have a shop in Sunnyland. And if you find yourselves down in Key West, we're at mile marker 0. So it's hard. It's not too hard to find if you go down to Key West. Also, you'll be able to take a look at our Books and Books Literary Foundation while you're there, and give us a hand with that as well. But we're very happy to have with us this evening Regina Rievsky-Fisher and A Dance to the End of Love. Actually, I've got volume 1 here. And Empowered by the Dream, A Journey of Resilience by Gladys Barrio, and we also have a moderator as well. Regina Rievsky-Fisher was born in Moscow, that's in Russia, where she received a Bachelor of Arts degree in Music and Literature. Upon emigrating to the United States, she entered Columbia University's School of Arts Writing program, receiving a Master of Fine Arts degree in writing. Regina has written plays, poetry, song lyrics, and short stories. She's been published in various literary magazines. Her latest work consists of a collection of short stories in 2 volumes, entitled Dance Me to the End of Love. And now she's here living with us in Miami with her family. Gladys Barrio was born in Cuba, raised in Puerto Rico, and relocated to Miami, where she earned a PhD in chemistry from the University of Miami. As a research scientist, she authored over 25 scientific publications and numerous presentations. She served as an executive director and science supervisor for the Miami-Dade County Public School System. Dr. Barrio taught chemistry and science education at the University of Miami, Florida International University, and Miami-Dade College. Upon retirement, she pursued creative writing courses at the University of Miami to document her family's history. Our moderator this evening is Judy Colina. She is our facilitator. She was born in Cuba from American parents and relocated to Miami in the 1970s. For several years, Judy's been involved with the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at the University of Miami through their writing program. She's an admirer and sponsor of the Dimension Dance Company. She writes her own memoirs from life in Cuba, the U.S., and her years at Rome. She's always been presenting the most of Regina's Gladys Writing Critique group. Please give them all a nice welcome.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear okay?
Yes.
I'm very impressed with these 2 ladies who are very, very smart. But I want to tell you all that I received an MRS at Tulane University in 1958. Thank you. I also believe that I have a PhD in life. I have been very, very fortunate to be able to get through very difficult situations, but I have earned that PhD. But I'm very happy to be here tonight with all of you, and we would like to thank Books and Books for letting us come here tonight. The 3 of us are very happy to be here, and I'm going to introduce you to Regine.
I just want to say my own personal thank you for all of you. It's so nice of you to come, my friends, and those who have just become my friends because you came. My family, my daughter, my son-in-law, my husband, and especially my friend's son, who told me, Regina, it's how my name sounds in Russian, but it's going to be boring. Well, they have a wonderful cafe. He said, do they have treats? I said, yeah. So that's probably where he is right now, because I don't hear him. Thank you, Sam, for coming, and thank you, everybody.
Hello, I really would like to thank all of you you have all been part of my life, my book. I would like to thank my family, my beautiful grandkids, my daughters that have been so supportive, my fiance, my friends, and my non-fiction group that is sitting back there. I love you. You have shaped my writing. Billy the Queen, my teacher. You have shaped my writing, and you all have a great piece in this book. Thank you.
Okay, the 3 of us met at the University of Miami writing group. we like each other so very much. We've done this for like 4 years consecutively. Every Thursday we get together. And we have Ernie here. Ernie? Hi, Ernie, from our writing group. And we liked each other so much that we kept getting together through the pandemic. And we would meet on Zoom. And lately, our group continues meeting weekly at my house, and we have a small social time with coffee and baked goods, followed by discussions of our writings. Regine and Gladys developed both their books simultaneously, mostly in preparation for the writing critique sessions. And surprisingly enough, they not only finished at the same time, but they happened that both of their books had a common theme. The theme is immigration. Regine.
I'm going to describe a little bit the book, or two books that I wrote. The books are the collection of short stories, and they're about my experience back in Russia and here in the United States. And I spent half of my life in Russia, by the way. Like, I'm not, I didn't come just recently. I write about ordinary people, ordinary situations, the decisions that people make, the actions that they take, their reaction, how their situations or decisions affect them. And I am, as an author, I do not give answer, but I pose a lot of questions.
Okay, I'm going to talk about my book a little later, but now on the topic of the umbrella topics that brings all of us together, immigration. My book is about the immigration from Spain to Cuba, and then from Cuba to the United States.
We decided to do the presentation together, Gladys and I, because we thought that the audience would be interested to learn and compare how two different cultures deal with the same sort of problem. That's why we're here together today.
Regine, can you tell the audience what inspired you to write these books?
Oh my God, I've never written before a page, a line in my life. I've been a musician actually. But then when I came here with my 4-year-old son, and neither he, Max, nor I spoke English. It took Max about 2 weeks, and he spoke English very well, and he was my translator and everything. It took me a little longer. I fortunately met an American guy later on, whom I married. But unfortunately, he spoke perfect Russian. So it did take some time for me to learn English. Anyway, because of his work, we lived in New York City, but because of his work, we needed to move to Princeton, New Jersey. And there we bought a house, and that house used to belong to John O'Hara. And John O'Hara, many of you know, this great American author, but I knew because he was translated into Russian, and I read him back in Russia, so I was very impressed that I'm in his house. And in the house there was a library where he wrote, and one day or night or evening I was sitting in that library, and all of a sudden, as if the ghost of John O'Hara told me, like, pick up a pen. I still write with my pen, by the way. And I did. And I wrote my first story. And out of audacity or I don't know what, I sent it out. And it got published. I think it was a beginner's luck. However, it encouraged me to write another few stories, of which all of them I sent to Columbia University, and they accepted me into their program. It was the Columbia University School of the Arts writing division. And I entered, and that's how it all began.
Okay, thank you very much, Eugene. How about you?
Okay, what inspired me was mainly my father. On October 21st, 2018, on the day of his 96th birthday celebration, 96th and last birthday celebration, we all gathered, we all had the opportunity of gathering around him. And he sat in the middle of very poor health, and he told us all these amazing stories. And as I was listening to those stories, I said, I cannot deprive my little grandkids of knowing these stories and having these stories when they grow older, to understand the struggles, the resilience, and the love of my parents and their brothers. So that was my inspiration, my father, and then to pass that on to my daughters and my grandkids.
Thank you. Thank you, Gladys. Regine, can you tell us who was your influence, the different writers that were your influence?
Oh my God, Russia is a country where people do nothing but read. So I started reading, I think, at the age of 4. I grew up on big names like Tolstoy and Dostoevsky and Chekhov, etc., and writers in translation like French ones, Flaubert, Dumas, and others, Zola, Balzac, British, American, lots of literature. But for some reason, I stuck to the short stories. I really love Chekhov. And when I came to the United States and I started reading in English, I discovered Raymond Carver, who I think he's considered the American Chekhov. He is a great short story writer. And throughout my entire life, it was Vladimir Nabokov. I love his stories, love his writing, and he was one of my main teachers.
Okay. Gladys, and who inspires you?
Okay, the books and authors that significantly influenced my book. The first one is Isabel Allende. I don't know if you have read the book, The Last Petal of the Sea. This is a story about a Spanish doctor during the Spanish Civil War, and the role of Pablo Neruda, who is my favorite poet, how his effort of taking thousands of refugees after the war from the border between France and Spain, from the refugees camp to Chile. He paid for all the travel, everything. And so that book really inspired me. Another one was, I don't know if you're familiarized with Ruth Behar, Letters from Cuba, an amazing book about letters from Cuba. And George Orwell wrote a book called Homage to Catalonia. That is his memoirs when he fought, even though he was British, but he fought as a volunteer in the Spanish Civil War. And he wrote his memoirs of that time, and he was stationed very close to where my grandparents were passing by. So that really inspired me. And for those art lovers in the audience, Picasso's Guernica, that sparked an inspiration into the inside of the struggles that are described in my book.
Can you read us a little bit from your book?
Yes. Okay, Lucas. Okay, I'm gonna have a little help with sound effects. So, let's start with a dramatic. That's a dramatic bomb, a dramatic swoosh. Thank you. So a dramatic swoosh followed an ear-shattering explosive glass sound in the air. The energy of the impact propelled humans and objects from the boat ramp into the water and the dock as the last passengers of the Cristobal Colon were projected from the ship, which had recently docked at the port of Bilbao. Shocked, distressed, stunned by the explosion, and not realizing what had happened, Bautista ended up face down on the rough cement. His face was battered and scattered by the impact against the concrete floor. Confused and dizzy, he struggled to stand up. Am I dead? Alive? Asleep? What just happened? His eyes searched in the direction of the thunderous impact, only to see the dreadful cloud of smoke rising behind him. The bomb, detonated by anarchists, had blown up the ship, sinking his lifetime belongings, everything he was bringing back from Cuba. Are you okay? Are you hurt? A concerned, compassionate individual was assisting those who were wounded but alive. Let's get out of here. Come on, move, move. Agonizing screams filled the air. Those familiar with the horrors of war were helping others and rushing them to move out of the area. As the passengers recovered from the impact, some were hurt by the projectile pieces from the explosion, and some, gripped by the pain of losing their precious possession, helped each other as best they could. The shaken and alien group, thankful to be alive, tried to compose themselves to escape the dangerous explosive site. Bautista watched speechless. Our documents, our wedding pictures, our personal items that we acquired with so much effort in our first years of marriage, gone, blown to pieces, drifting to the bottom of the ocean. He sighed. He had brought all their precious belongings with him with the dream of permanently relocating back to Spain. At that moment, he could not have fathomed that this was only the beginning of a lifetime of recurring exile and losses through the war. The disheartened group carried whatever items were salvaged and helped each other while heading away from the pier to a safer spot. The war has started, someone shouted. The main roads, west and south, all closed. Heavy shelling surrounds the area and most forms of transportation are closed. Amidst the chaos, there were the resonating voices. The only way out of here is to circumvent the war zones into the monstrous mountain range of the Pyrenees. Once out of here and into the Pyrenees, a path back into the center of the peninsula could be found. Someone from the group shouted. If I could get to Barcelona, I have family there. They will be able to help me return home, Bautista thought. Each member of this group could escape the explosion, anxiously experience their own story. Walking away, saddened by what they had gone through and helping each other out, they could not grasp the terrible situation in which they found their homeland. They could only think of how to return to the families that they left behind. The group of passengers impacted by the explosion soon began the exhausting day's journey, hiking through the arid hills of the Pyrenees. The nights were bitterly cold. It was easy to get lost wandering through valleys, hills, heavy mist, and massive mountains. And always the fear of encountering a stray bullet from the militia stayed with them. It was difficult to move quickly on those hillsides among the crackling shrubs and tinkling limestone. Stomachs growled, food was scarce, and bodies fell and rose again. The group continued their journey day and night, only stopping at dusk as dusk approached and their bodies could not endure anymore. To cushion their bodies overnight in an open, safe area or amid the woods, they arranged the shawls, coats, clothing, or bags they had salvaged on the ground. As soon as the first rays of sunshine appeared on the horizon, the group packed up and continued their endless trek. In nearby Huesca, the fronts were fighting, posing an immediate danger to this area. After 27 non-stop exhausting long days of walking with little time for rest,